Mic check 1, 2, 3. Um, Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first episode of the Top of the Key podcast, hosted by Donovan Franzo, yours truly. A quick little, backstory on the name and the reason why this is a thing now. Is honestly, I enjoy playing basketball. I'm 17 years old, and I go to my local 24-hour fitness to go play basketball. And honestly, the top of the key is one of my favorite spots on the court. Um, yeah, like the top of the key three, usually maybe off a pick and roll, and instead of rolling, pop for a 3-pointer, or off a swing. I get at the top of the key, or take a dribble and take a mid range off the top of the key. So, moral of the story is top of the key is one of my favorite spots on the court. And I was trying to find a name for the podcast, and there's a podcast. Excuse me. And the enthusiasm's already gone, but there's a podcast called The Dunker Spot. I want to say I don't know the people, which I feel bad, but like they're associated with JJ Redick's network, and I don't know. I like that podcast. I like the name Dunker Spot. Aaron Gordon, one of my favorite players that utilizes the dunker spot well with Jokic, and how they use him. So yeah, that's kind of the inspiration behind it. Um, First episode couldn't happen at a better time, as the NBA Finals are on, and we're gonna jump right in. Now, I'm recording this Sunday night after the Celtics beat the Mavericks 105-98 to take the 2-0 series lead, and a quick little summarization for the game if some people didn't watch, which it seems like some people don't watch as the NBA Finals, and their ratings are low. Since, besides the COVID years, 2020 and 2021, the lowest rating since 2007, which, if I'm not mistaken, that might be the Spurs championship or when the Heat won it. So either one. Anyways, um, this is the Drew Holiday game. Drew Holiday put in 26 points, 11 for 14 shooting, two threes, 11 rebounds. And Drew Holiday was doing it on both sides of the court. This is why they brought him in. They got rid of Marcus Smart. We get it. Marcus Smart was a perennial defensive player of the year, and I maybe they felt like they needed to move on. And this is why you do it for big time players. Drew Holiday obviously won a ring with the Bucks, and had the infamous play against one of my favorite players, Devin Booker, stripped the ball from Booker, and then that led to the Giannis alley-oop, and they obviously won the championship from there. Now, what Drew Holiday was doing was, this is his second highest point total game of the whole season. So as his tenure of being a Celtic, their historic 64-18 regular season record and playoff record, and all the games in the playoffs, second most points, 26 points. And one moment that I think really swung this game was, it was around maybe the 5-minute, 4-minute mark of the game, and Mavericks were trying to make kind of making a run. 9-0, it was like maybe a 6-0 run, 9-0 run, and it was, I want to say it was a 5-point game. Luka takes the ball, and Drew Holiday disrupts him. Drew Holiday gets a steal. Al Horford gets it, doesn't know what to do. Drew Holiday trails him, and Drew Holiday 3-pointer, bang. And that's probably, if you're Brad Stevens, I don't know if he's a GM or Kevin McHale or Danny, not Danny Ainge, sorry, but Brad Stevens, the guy kind of the mastermind behind this roster. That's why you bring Drew Holiday in, to play both sides of the floor very consistently. And I know there's going to be discourse about Jason Tatum and how he's been playing. I mean, 6 for 22 shooting, only 1 for 7 on 3-pointers, but 12 assists, right? And 9 rebounds. So a near triple double for Jason Tatum, I know, on inefficient shooting. And that's kind of been I think if the Celtics win this series, the discourse is going to be, oh, what's the verdict on Jason Tatum? Jason Tatum's a fraud, this and that. And I think your counter to that is like, listen, Jason Tatum is still a young player in this league, right? I know this is the second time in the finals. He's been in the Eastern Conference Finals plenty of times. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he doesn't need to be the superstar player for them to win games. And that's kind of the beauty of the Celtics, right? When you look at the Mavericks, we'll talk about them soon. The Mavericks don't really need the Mavericks need Luka and Kyrie, both of them, to be on their A-plus game for them even to have a shot at this game. And so now if we go back to the Mavericks, obviously Luka Doncic, I mean, there's nothing more you can say. Phenomenal player, always going to give you a triple-double, 32, 11, and 11. Efficient shooting too. But for the Mavericks, I really want to touch on Kyrie Irving, right? And in the clutch moments of this game especially, I saw Kyrie kind of going one-on-one. And, there was one play, he took like 15 seconds out of the shot clock, gave it to Luka with 5 seconds, and I think Luka took like a floater that was a low percentage shot. And I think Kyrie, he's just playing a little too one-on-one right now. Obviously, we know Kyrie's one of the most skilled players the game has ever seen. There's no one's going to question that. And Kyrie's done it. Kyrie's won a championship. He's won it with LeBron coming down from 3-1 against arguably the best team in NBA history, statistically the best team in NBA history. And for Kyrie, I mean, 7 for 18 shooting, no threes made, 16 points. For them to win, Luka needs his 30, and Kyrie needs 25 to 30 for them even to be in the game. PJ Washington gave you 17. Derrick Jones gave you 11. Daniel Gafford gave you 13. Those are all players. If you looked at the role players, you're like, okay, yeah, the role players made sense. Like they played good games. And with Tatum not having the best of games in the past 2 games, you kind of look, and the Mavericks played phenomenal in the first half. Had a almost near flawless first half. Luka was going crazy in the first quarter. Luka had, I think, 12 or 13 points in the first quarter. It was near. He had that one fadeaway on the right-handed side, midi, and then he came down the court again, made a 3, and it was almost reminding me of Game 5 against the Timberwolves, and he was talking to the crowd, and he was giving that mean mug in face. And Luka's gonna do that. Listen, I don't even know if you can slow down Luka. If you can say it, you definitely can't stop him. I don't even know if you can slow him down. He's gonna give you 30, 10, and 10 every single game. Gafford played fine, 6 for 9 shooting. Derrick Jones played fine. Washington played fine. It's going to go down on Kyrie, right? And now as they go back, the discourse behind Game 2 was, Celtics lost Game 2 against the Heat. Obviously, the Heat weren't given a chance to win the series, but they lost Game 2 in their home floor. Then against the Cavaliers, they lost Game 2 in their home floor. So most people were at least giving the Mavericks a chance to win this game, and it was a close game. And I think this is a game that, if you're the NBA, it's going to help your ratings. I think, it was a close game through and through, honestly. And just to go back on the ratings thing, I think the whole reason why the ratings are low is, in my opinion, because it doesn't really feel like, sure, there are some aspects of it that make you feel like the NBA Finals. You hear Mike Breen, obviously that was a great call. You're going to hear that block by White, to go back on Derek White, phenomenal block and phenomenal game too. 18 points, 4 threes. Phenomenal game by Derek White. Derek White and Drew Holiday won this game for the Celtics, providing 44 points combined. So if you're getting that from arguably your 4th and 5th best players on any given night, it's going to be tough to beat. Porzingis came off the bench, and Porzingis didn't look too good at the end. He was kind of hobbling around, limping around. So hope Porzingis is fine, because that was the first true unicorn. We call Wemby and all these guys Chet Holmgren unicorns, and that term was kind of coined by Porzingis. So I love Porzingis' game. So hopefully he's okay. Yeah, I think I saw a quote. He's willing to die on the court. So Obviously, you don't want him to injure himself, but I'd love to see Porzingis out there. So going back to why I think the ratings are like this is, there's no finals logo on the court, and there's no like, I don't know, little things like that, which kind of could help a casual viewer be like, oh, if they're flipping through the channel, see channel 10, like, what's going on the court? Like, why is there this like thing? And you start to ask questions, whatever, casual fan. Also, I think it's because maybe people aren't familiar with these new phases of the league. I will say, I feel like if Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves made the finals, I think the buzz behind that would have been astronomical, off the charts. I think your ratings would have been crazy with all the comparisons compared to MJ and this and that. But I think the NBA is going through a transition, right? Curry, Durant, LeBron, all getting older. I don't know how many more chances they're going to have at a championship. So it's up to the new guys. Giannis won his, Jokic, and now you could potentially see Luka or Tatum. So these are new young faces that the casual fans will get familiar with as time goes on. Now, series going back to Dallas. Dallas is a hard place to play. As a Thunder fan, seeing the Dallas crowd, and they get amped. I'm not gonna lie, they get amped, and they do stuff the right way. So, had a long day, but the Mavericks obviously must-win game 3. No team has came back from 3-0 in any series, so yeah, you got to give yourself your best shot if you're Dallas. And honestly, I think we haven't seen a lot of Tim Hardaway. I know Tim Hardaway is a hot and cold player. Shot IQ is maybe not the best, but if you need some scoring, he scored 98 points today. Tim Hardaway, going back to that Thunder series, gave you 10 quick points in like 2 minutes. Those are momentum things that are going to help you win the game. Those little runs are going to help you in the long run. Those are series winning games, series winning moments. So I don't know if Jason Kidd wants to do that. I know Tim Hardaway is also kind of a liability on defense. Their bench gave them 9 points. Maxi Kleber coming off injury, 0 for 4. Lively, I don't think Lively's 100%. We saw Lively be very, very crucial in the Timberwolves series and in the Thunder series. So there were times where Lively was the third most impactful player for the Mavericks. So you wonder, he had that little neck thing or head concussion. So you want to make sure he's okay. So they have a couple banged up bigs. So you got to have your role players step up. I mean, PJ Washington gave you 17, but Kyrie can't be giving you 16. I think at the end of the day, if you're Kyrie, you know what type of player you are. In my opinion, top 75 player. I think you got snubbed from that, and you really got to put your foot on the metal. Another thing I want to say is the lack of free throw shooting, or the lack of the Mavericks suck at free throws. Okay, we saw that, I think, in every series. They shot 66% from the free throw line compared to the Celtics 95%. Mavericks shot 24, Celtics shot 20. Mavericks shot 16 for 24. That's 8 points. They lost by 7. At the end of the day, you guys got to make your free. It's very simple, but those are small, minuscule things that will change the whole trajectory of the game. So, I mean, Lucas said he missed a free throw today. He said that's on him. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's going to cost them an NBA Finals potentially, or going to cost them a shot at the finals. That's nowhere to be proud of. I don't know what I'm not a coach or anything. I don't know what you do to your players to get them in the rhythm to shoot free throws, but that's unacceptable. Total turnovers, Mavericks 15, Celtics 11. Points in the paint, pretty even. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty back and forth game for the most part, honestly. And the Celtics went on that run with the Peyton Pritchard 3 at the end of the third quarter, which helped them get some momentum and got the crowd into it. And the fourth quarter. They had like a 10-point lead, and they didn't look back from there. So, you know, those are my takes for this game. Some really quick things outside of the NBA Finals regarding the NBA world. Dan Hurley for potentially going to get the Lakers job. And the Lakers job is interesting because for the main part, if you're a coach, right, you're going to hire a coach for the post LeBron era. LeBron's going to be around for 1 or 2 more years at most. And you really got to think about it, if you're Jeanie Buss, the owner of the Lakers, or Rob Pelinka, how the how the roster is going to be constructed after LeBron. Are you going to trade LeBron? Is LeBron going to leave? I know LeBron wants an extension, so are you going to give him an extension? So I feel like Dan Hurley, good for the youth movement. I feel like obviously coming off back-to-back championships at UConn, we're in a very well-oiled machine there. And the contrast is JJ Redick, and JJ Redick's more of a hot upcoming new candidate. No coaching experience whatsoever. Podcast host with LeBron. Everyone's saying potentially it was a coaching interview that LeBron was doing, this and that. And if I'm the Lakers, Dan Hurley's on the table, take it. And I know there is not a good correlation between college coaches and how they do in the NBA, but I feel like Dan Hurley is a unique coach, and I know people have probably said that about the other coaches, but I really see something in Dan Hurley, and Dan Hurley is legit, and I think he'll give his full effort to the Lakers. I know it's one of the most high profile job in sports. That would be a Cowboys coach, maybe a Real Madrid manager, the Yankees manager. So definitely he's going to get a lot more eyes than he did at UConn. But I think he'd be up for the challenge, and I think the Lakers should go that direction. So that was first episode. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how the audio is going to sound, but I'm hoping this can be a semi-consistent thing. Maybe we'll get some Euro and Copa America talk as those begin, and as NFL season progresses, we'll get some NFL things on. And if you guys, show love to the podcast, then we'll definitely up it a notch. But first time, we'll see how it goes. Have a great night. It's been Don Franzo. Peace.